Hello and welcome to our video lab report about practice number 2. This practice is about the metrology and the measurement. I'm sorry about the second word. I don't really know how to pronounce the word, but I think that's the closest pronunciations I can get. In this practice we use several instruments in order to know how to use them, and that's really useful for us because as engineers we're gonna use those kind of instruments as a daily basis. We used a micrometer, a basic ruler, two types of verniers, and we measured a bearing for the outside and the inside diameter. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope, well, we hope that you will enjoy the video.
Okay, now I'm going to explain how a micrometer works. This micrometer in a specific can measure from 0 to 1 inch in thousandth of an inch. Okay, now we can observe here several numbers. Every number here in this part means that, for example, this means 200 thousandths of an inch, and this distance will be 555 thousandths of an inch. And these type of instruments are very useful when you are trying to measure little things, less things, even smaller than, for example, I don't know, like a bearing. You cannot measure the external diameter of a bearing, but you can measure successfully the little bones inside a bearing.
Another instrument that we used in the laboratory practice is the vernier. That is this object that I'm holding right now, and it's widely used in the industry because it's really useful for whatever you wanna measure, and it depends on what you wanna see. For example, this part here is to measure the inside diameters or interiors. This one it's at the outside, and for this one is the depth. And also it's really accurate, but at the same time it depends on the user.
I will now explain how the digital vernier works. It's really simple. This has a screen on it. You just have to turn it on, set it to the correct measurements. It can be inches or millimeters, and choose the way it works. To measure the width, you do like this, and you close it up, you get the sample. To measure an inner diameter, you use the outer side, stretch it open, and get the number.
Now I will explain how the compass works. First, you have to turn the handle so you open it or close it according to the measure you want. So in this case, we're going to measure the width. We close it enough to make it fits the width. Then we need a ruler, and we put it like this, and we can see the measure is 1.2 centimeters approximately.
Hello, now I will explain how the ruler works. The ruler is one of the most ancient instruments for measuring. It works in a very simple way. You just choose an object and you compare it to the small lines in there. And there you have your measurement.
After doing the practice, we realized that we don't have the same measurements for each instrument. that we use because it's of the accuracy of each one. We realized also that the instruments that have the most differences are the ruler and the compass, because those instruments are not the appropriate ones to measure the bearing, because the compass and the ruler are not as accurate as another ones that are digital. So that's one of the main reasons that we can guess for different measurements, but also the human factor is really important, because one user can determine one measure and another user with the same instrument can determine a different measure, so that will be a huge problem in the industry.
For my next projects for our next project, I should choose the micrometer and also the digital vernier. But why? For example, when we are working with little components, you can measure them with the vernier. But if they are really small and you need accuracy, you can use the micrometer. But the vernier, I think that's the more versatile instrument to measure things like you don't usually use instrument like flexometers in the industry. For example, in a car, you maybe need to measure a little bolt, and you will use your vernier, not your micrometer, nor your compass, and the worst choice is to use your roller. So the digital vernier is the best option that I can recommend.
After this lab report, we saw that every tool has an error. So we should use the tool that is more exact than the others, like the micrometer or the vernier, instead of the compass or the ruler that are more simple but are more inexactly. So that's what we learned in this lab report.
My personal conclusion is that the measurements are really important in engineering. It's very silly imagine an engineer that cannot make a simple measurement correctly. So, in my opinion, the vernier is the most useful instrument you can use, and for if you are a mechanical engineer. So. I recommend you to buy one.
In my personal conclusion, the instruments for measurement are very important in our normal lives, because we always need to know the right size of the objects. An engineer, it's very important so we can shape our machines and our final products the way we like to.
This laboratory practice was really important for me because it helped me to understand how to use each instrument and to choose the correct one, because you cannot use all of them for a measure that you need, because as we said in the last part of the video, you need to choose the correct one in order to make sure that your measurement of the measurement of the object is the best one. So these kind of practice are really useful because that's the way you're gonna work in the industry.
After the practice, we can conclude that every single measurement tool has a different range of mistake and a different way of operating, and it's essential to know which one to use for each thing.